Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another week. Wager Talk Today, June 25th. It's Monday, $9 Mondays. Everybody, every handicapper over at Wager Talk, $9. Teddy's got a 5% play up. Marco's got a 5% play up. I do not. Teddy covers. Great show today, man. Marco D'Angelo up first. He's going to talk Houston and Baltimore and the Islander-Tampa Bay game. Bryan Leonard after that, the Arizona Diamondbacks game and the Houston Astros game. And we're going to have a whole lot of Carmine this week as we march into the round of 16 in the Euro 2020 Championship. Teddy, how are you? How was your weekend? What's going on? Any news? Happy Father's Day, blah, etc.
So the funniest thing, Prez, you give me grief when I correct you, okay? I don't like to correct you, but the goal of the show always, it's more important than hurting somebody's feelings, is to give out accurate info. What's today's date, bro? You didn't even get the date right to open the show.
June 21st.
Yeah, you said June 25th. But don't sweat it. It's no big deal. I'm sure people...
I did not.
Go back and check the calendar. Not.
Joe, play back the tape in my ear, please.
You said Monday, June 25th.
I was right.
That's what I heard.
Joe just played the tape back in my ear.
It's fun to make fun of you, Prez. You're an easy and you're a good target, and I appreciate that. You help all of our viewing audience feel better about themselves with your misery. So we appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you appreciating that. I actually had a wonderful betting weekend, Teddy. Okay, so Friday, I lost my mind. I went 4-2 in all my plays. But I was on the Vegas Golden Knights, and it should have been a 5-1. Everybody has seen that Fleury
disaster. We'll talk
about
it in bad beats at the moment.
Yeah. So I should have gone 5-1. I went 4-2. Came back Saturday with a 3-1 day, and Sunday I went 2-1, and I lost with the Vegas Golden Knights again. I had them in regulation because I can't seem to bring myself to release minus 200 plays. I just can't. I know a lot of handicappers do, and I am fine with that. I just don't. So my hockey is still ridiculously bad, but I'm rolling again across all sports. 4-0 NBA. I'm feeling better. Talk to me, brother.
Sure. Let's do a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad looks. I had a pretty good weekend myself, Prez, 5-1 across sports, so I'm not going to complain on a Monday morning, although, well, we'll talk about one of the games I lost in this segment, the only game I lost all weekend. But let's start with the bad beats. And if you haven't seen the highlight, you already know what we were talking about at the top of the show. Vegas up 2-1 in a crucial Game 3 against Montreal in Montreal. About a minute to go. And the guy who's carried the Knights since their inception, Fleury, Marc-Andre Fleury, the goalie, with a once-in-a-career brain fart right by his own goal. And next thing you know, boom, just sets up the Habs for an easy goal. They win in overtime. Just as bad for underbettors who push. Well, not as bad because they didn't lose the bet. But it wasn't pretty for underbettors. It certainly wasn't pretty for Vegas Golden Knights bettors. That a really tough beat for those who had them. Then, of course, we had a Friday night. Nobody had it. But we have to talk about it. Thanks to Shaky 12381, Michael Campbell for sending it along. Of course, the Pirates, who led 11-1 in the seventh, couldn't cover the run line. Won 11-10. That was a pretty tough beat. Not that anyone had it. Speaking of run lines, what about the Dodgers yesterday? They led Arizona 9-2 after 7. They couldn't cover the run line. That was a tough beat. We have the Hawks outscoring Philly by 21 in the fourth quarter at home of Game 5. Tough beat for Philly backers, especially at them on the money line. And it is worth noting for bad beats that Bucks Nets over on Saturday night cashed before overtime started. So even though they combined for only 8 points in the extra session, the game was still over before it got there. Couple of bad bets worth noting. There was heavy Rays money yesterday. Everyone's betting against the sweep. They were bet up to minus 160. Well, they lost in extra innings by margin. Seattle on the reverse run line cashed. Rough series in Seattle for Tampa Bay. That bettors got that wrong basically all weekend long, and especially on Sunday. And I'm not sure anyone bet Montreal in Game 4. Not many. Folks had heavy Knights liability both here in Vegas and across the country. Vegas rallies to win that game in overtime, much to the chagrin of Mr. Prez, who had him in regulation. And, of course, a couple of bad for the books. Look, the Hawks-Sixers Game 7 was bad all around yesterday for the books. Really bad. The public all over Atlanta. Atlanta plus the points. Atlanta on the money line. Big recreational support for the Hawks. And the wise guys were all over the under in that ball game. So public won with Atlanta. The wise guys won with the under. Both cash with relative ease. That was not a great game for the house. And, of course, the one I was talking about, there was nothing but Cubs yesterday for a bullpen game. They got up to minus 150. I had a little Miami in my pocket. Both the clients do the same. Marlins bat scored 23 in the first two games of the series, then nothing against the bullpen yesterday. The Cubs too cheap. Game 2-0. We'll talk a little bit more about the Chicago Cubs when it comes to big game breakdown for today. We'll talk Cubs and Indians. There you have it, Prez. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, my friend.
Remember, everybody, it's $9 Mondays. Marco's got a 5% play. Teddy's got a 5% play. Let's bring Mr. D'Angelo in, and I'm telling you, man, this is one excited dude. I mean, you can see, Marco, I mean this as a compliment, but it looks like you stressed 20 pounds off of you in the game, in this Vegas series, because you've never looked svelter. And I think it must be just pure stress.
I'll tell you, I was telling you guys before we came on the air, I have not been emotionally attached to a team as much as I am to this Vegas Golden Knights team. And I'll tell you, Prez, I literally was depressed after Friday night with the Fleury gaffe that he had on such a big stage, because I had a flashback, and I don't know if you'll remember this, but I'm sure Teddy will. The last Super Bowl for the Pittsburgh Steelers, when they went into Detroit and won, it was Jerome Bettis' final season. The AFC Championship game, the Steelers had the game won and was putting it away, and Jerome Bettis fumbled late in that game, and an Indianapolis Colts player scooped it, and it was going to be a scoop and score, and Big Ben just got a fingertip on him, dropped him by the shoelaces, past midfield to save the touchdown, and the Steelers went on to win the Super Bowl. And all I could think of was that play was happening is this is going to be the final play people remember Jerome Bettis' career on, fumbling and blowing a chance to the Super Bowl. And as good as Fleury has been for them, if you watch Twitter yesterday or Friday night, the vile comments that were coming from people, they forget that this guy literally, as Teddy said, has been the backbone of this franchise since its inception, but yet everybody has short memories, and that's all they would remember if they didn't come back and win this series.
And Marco looks so skinny today, Prez, for one reason. You think it's because he lost 40 pounds because of the sweating about the Knights. You weren't in Vegas last week. If you walked outside, you lost 10 pounds walking out the door, okay? Yeah, it was a ridiculous week, and it's going to be that way again this weekend. So that's why Marco lost the weight, dude. All he had to do was walk. When you walk to your car, you lose 5 pounds, by the time you get in. Easy. It's crazy out here.
Well, I know for sure that you don't have 5 pounds to lose, so stay inside, please. Marco, dude, you're right. I mean, there were people, tweeting, twittering. There were people twitting me during the weekend after that Friday game, and Fleury's the worst. Fleury's a bum. This guy is not only the likely Vezina Trophy winner this year. This guy's not only a Hall of Fame goaltender. This guy is maybe top 10 of all time type numbers. And go look at number 1 of all time, Mr. Martin Brodeur, and check out his gaffe in the Stanley Cup Finals a few well, decades ago. But man, Patrick Waugh has done it. Brodeur has done it. The Prez has been doing it all playoffs. When you live inside of that type of company, that's great. As I pointed out, Marco, we call that, and I got to find this, we call that greatness takes a shit. Yeah, greatness, here it is. There you go. Greatness takes a shit.
Oh, Perez.
Okay, dude, let's get into it, man. Houston playing Baltimore. Houston minus a whole lot. Just get into this game, dude. I'm all flustered. I'm flustered, man.
We're looking at the Houston Astros, and you look at a team, and man, they are smacking the cover off the baseball. Once again, this team just pounds the baseball. They have won 7 in a row. This is the first game of a road trip. And guys, you've heard me talk about fading teams coming home from a road trip. I like taking teams on winning streaks that first game of the road trip. They are focused. They want to keep the winning streak going. And we're laying a big number on the road with the Astros, and deservedly so. So we're going to change that up and bring the cost down on this wager. And we're going to take them first 5 innings, but we're going to lay a half a run. And by doing so, we bring the price down to minus 121. And this is a spot where, as hot as Houston is, Baltimore's just as cold. They've lost 10 of their last 11 games. And as I talked about Houston and the way they're scoring, 6 of their last 7 games, they've scored 6 runs or more. And that doesn't bode well for a Baltimore pitching staff that has been rocked for 7 runs or more in 5 of their last 6 games. And note, because Baltimore, and as bad as the pitching has been, they are this season 0-10 when the bullpen has had a 5-game stretch where their ERA is 7 or higher, and that is what it currently is. We're going to go ahead, take Houston, lay the half a run. And one last stat for you to going against Baltimore. They're just 14-32 versus right-handers this season, and they're averaging a dismal 3.8 runs per game facing righties. I'll go ahead and take Houston in this one. Minus a half a run, first 5 innings.
Sure. Now, with this minus a half run for the first 5, you're basically talking about a starting pitching matchup in this ball game that, Odorizzi's not a guy that people are excited about. And Aiken's he got bombed last time out in a second turnaround short look against Cleveland. But there's certainly been signs that Aiken may be someone who has some potential here for Baltimore. Have you seen any of that from Keegan Aiken, or is he not a guy that you're all that worried about going against with that hot?
Well, he hasn't had the dominating stuff there for me. The last outing, it's one of those you look at and say he had his highest strikeout performance, Teddy. He had 7 strikeouts last time out, but it was also his worst performance with the net results. He gave up 8 runs in that game. So it's a mixed bag. The only thing I can say, if you want to look for a silver lining with him, this will be the first time Houston has faced him. And we've talked about that, where a pitcher does have an advantage first time through the league. But I look at his stuff, and it just doesn't seem overwhelming to me that I'm concerned about that. And the way Houston is hitting, do you really want to step in front of those bats right now with a rookie pitcher? I don't. I'm going to go ahead and look for Houston to get the job done.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Marco, you got a 5% play up, major wager today in baseball. Tell us about that. And you've been running hot in the sport.
You know what, Prez, this is to me an absolute mismatch of a game with the stats, with the starting pitchers. To me, this is an outstanding play. I saw it, and normally I don't get a game up overnight. I like to wait till the next day and confirm lineups and everything else. This one was so dominant. It was up last night. The minute I saw the matchup, I jumped all over it and head over to WagerTalk right now. Normally, this would be a $35 game. It's, Monday, $9. You can't, Can't beat it. Check it out. Wager Talk.
Marco D'Angelo, let's talk some hockey, brother. Really outstanding series going on between Tampa Bay and the New York Islanders. Just a goaltending clinic. You sit there and you're like Price and Fleury in one game and Vasilevsky and Varlamov, Varpachapatopoulos in the other game. And it's like, I don't even know which game is better goalies. The New York Islanders goalie has just stood on his head. The New York Islanders and Montreal playing just a similar smothering style, giving up no space to anybody. And Tampa Bay and Vegas play a very similar style. I'm intrigued what you think is going to happen tonight. We have, I can't even remember, 2-2 series right now. Yeah. So back in Tampa Bay, every game now becomes absolutely crucial. Tampa Bay minus close to 200 tonight. What do you like?
Yeah, and you talked about it at the beginning. You don't like to lay a big number, and this is one where you're going to have to. The line has fluctuated between minus 185 to minus 190 if you want to back Tampa. Personally, I think that this line is low for this one. I think it should be in the range of maybe 225 with Tampa. It is Game 5. It is a 2-2 series. If you win this, you win Game 5, you're going to win 78.9% of the time the series. And Tampa is 4-0 this year off a loss in the playoffs. Now, even more impressive than that, we know Tampa won the Stanley Cup last year. You go back to last year and this year, they have won 13 straight games off a loss in the playoffs. That is impressive as hell. Coming back home, and as you said, one of the best goalies, if not the best in the league. You're talking about the Tampa goalie and the Golden Knights goalie. Those are the two guys that are finalists for the big award for goalies. Vezina Trophy. I am going to go ahead and take Tampa to get the job done here. In Tampa, in general, 59-22 off a loss. But as I said, when it comes to playoff time and the stakes are higher, 13 straight wins off a loss. I'm not stepping in front of that with Tampa. Yeah. And you go back to really, they have played in this series maybe two bad periods the whole series. I think Tampa's been the best team on the ice most of the games. They were down 3-0 in the last game, battled back. They didn't give up in that game, made it a close game, 3-2 late and had to sweat it out. I was on the Islanders in that game, and I wasn't comfortable the whole third period, but I like Tampa at home tonight.
And that makes total sense, Marco. Great handicap. I'm going to let everyone know I'm going to be betting Tampa Bay 2 tonight. I'll talk about it a bit in the penalty box segment. Outstanding stuff. Marco D'Angelo, everyone, co-founder of WagerTalk.com, a Vegas Golden Knights fanatic, and a really good dude. By the way, Marco, I thought about you last night, not late last night. I had wings.
I'm sure it wasn't good.
I had wings. Last night for dinner. First time in months.
Nice.
So, yeah. Get out of here, brother. Marco D'Angelo, everyone. We got a big show. Teddy Covers. Big game breakdown next. Bryan Leonard got a couple of baseball games. And, of course, Carmine Bianco to talk some soccer. Both the 3 p.m. games today. We'll be right back.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's take a look at an MLB interleague game for tonight. The Cleveland Indians traveling to Wrigley Field to face the Chicago Cubs. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk Live odds screen, the Cubs in the minus 150 range. Take back on Cleveland, anywhere from plus 135 to plus 140. And yes, I will be making a case for the Cleveland Indians at the plus price today. There's two basic rationales behind. First, Aaron Savali for Cleveland is an undervalued commodity. Okay, the guy's 10-2 this season. He's basically the reigning ace of the Indian staff without Bieber and Plesac going right now. But his advanced metrics don't wow anyone. Low 90s fastball. He doesn't have a big strikeout rate, less than 7 per 9 innings. And those are the type of numbers that don't attract a ton of betting market support. Hence the big underdog price for Cleveland today. The other piece, so Savali to me is very much an undervalued commodity, right? On the other side of the equation, this is a Cubs team that absolutely cannot hit right now. Ice cold. 3 runs or less in 8 straight games. 2 runs or less in 7 of those 8 games. Nobody's hitting. They scored 2 runs yesterday. They didn't hit a ball. You know, it goes back to that old Rob Vino quote. You can get to 3 runs by accident. I mean, they got to 2 by accident yesterday. Didn't hit a ball hard for most of the game. Not like their bullpen is fresh and ready. It's not like Alzolay is coming in great form. He's coming off the DL. He's not going to eat up innings tonight. Bullpen got used up yesterday, got rocked all weekend. I think Cleveland's live. Give the Indians plus 135 as the prevailing line. If you shop around, you can find better than that. But I think Cleveland, a live dog at Wrigley on Monday. There's your big game breakdown. Prez, back to you.
Teddy Covers, let's bring Bryan Leonard in. Bryan, hope you had a wonderful weekend, man. Marco is losing his mind over the Vegas Golden Knights. Too much drama and stress for that man. He's literally shed 20 pounds. You share season tickets with him. Have you been coping a little better? Because I've never seen him like this.
You know, it's funny. As long as we've all been doing this, you would figure we would learn. I was going to say Marco's been sweating so much he's lost his hair, but that happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Luckily, it hasn't happened for me. And I'm on the East Coast right now, and I actually didn't see the score in extra innings, or excuse me, in the overtime, as I was watching something else, and it started up before I was ready. And then all of a sudden, my wife sends me a text, and I go, "Oh, we won! I missed it." So obviously, I'm not sweating it as much as he is, but I will tell you, in all honesty, this Montreal team, I've been really impressed by them.
Man.
They've been so good. And congrats to Andrew for the hockey show. He's just been on them all year long. And I'll be honest with you, I made fun of Toronto when they lost to Montreal. I take that back. Montreal is playing really well. And even though the line has Vegas as a 330 favorite right now, it would not shock me to see Montreal win this series.
Well, I agree, and I'll tell you something, and it's something to talk about, Teddy. We should go into this during the summer, but you know, one of the things that I've really noticed in both hockey and basketball is both sports are currently in the midst of a really fundamental offensive style change to their game. You know, we've already seen it with basketball. The totals are all 20 points higher than they were 10 years ago. We're seeing perimeter shooting all the time. Teams like Utah shooting 3-pointers, 50% of their possessions, if not more. We're seeing ball movement. We're seeing cycling. The same thing is happening in hockey. When you're watching teams like the Leafs or Tampa Bay or Vegas and all of this outside movement. I mean, Vegas last night was in the offensive zone on Montreal 2-1, and yet Montreal outshot Vegas. We are seeing a huge evolution in offensive styles in both those sports. Yet, Bry, when we take a look, it is still Montreal and the New York Islanders playing the up and down style hockey, sitting 4 solid defense, right, 2 lines of defense, just watching these great offensive teams circle and saying, shoot wherever you want, guys. Shoot over there, but nobody is getting anywhere near this damn net. So for all of the exciting, fun hockey we've seen, it's still the old school style that is winning. And I think it's, I don't know if it's as relevant in NBA, but still, man, in hockey, it's like what I've learned is those teams are great during the regular season. You get to the playoffs, Montreal and New York Islanders, Carolina, all these up and down teams are still finding their way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a situation for me when you take a look at hockey. The Knights did the same thing last year against Dallas. Dallas shut them down defensively. Which is why I love to play underdogs in hockey, because you can have as many shots at the goal as you possibly can. And if they're blocking it, every time the Knights go down there, there's three guys standing in front of the goal, the goalie and two defenders. And when you take a look at the shot, the first shot that McNabb made, that went off the side of the ribs of the goalie. There wasn't even a hole there, and he was able to get it through. So, it's a totally different game, and I'm always looking for live underdogs, and been very lucky with the Islanders in this series. It's been paying off for me.
Yeah, you got it. Let's get into some baseball. Brewers minus 115 versus the Arizona. This year went to hell fast. Diamondbacks 9.5 is the total. What are we doing in this game?
You got the Diamondbacks have lost 17 straight. I believe over the last month, they've won 2 games, 2-28. But I'm looking to back Arizona here. And a lot of reasons. I think there's obviously a lot of value on a team that's lost 17 straight. Nobody else wants them. But when you take a look at these pitchers, Anderson and Kelly, I have them rated basically the same. You take a look at the Milwaukee offense. They haven't hit righties all season long. Their WRC plus is 82. Arizona's WRC plus against lefties is 102. And that's despite a 3-15 record versus lefties. So I saw something Ralph Michaels said on today, and he talked about Arizona being 3-15 against lefties. Well, you got to pay more attention than that. You've got to be able to look at how the offense is done. And the offense is better than league average. They're at 102. And as bad as Arizona has been in the month of June, they're at 94. So the offense hasn't been the problem against lefties. It's the pitching staff, when they happen to face a lefty, hasn't been getting the job done. Milwaukee doesn't hit very well against righties, as I mentioned. I have the 2 pitchers rated equally. And we also have Milwaukee coming off that Colorado series. And when you're leaving altitude and you're going into non-altitude, I like to fade those offenses. So the line opened up at 125 overnight for Milwaukee, and there has been money coming in on the underdog here. I agree. I like Arizona here, and I think it's going to be one of the better underdog plays we've had all season long, because nobody in their right mind wants to play Arizona. Well, I'm not in my right mind. I will take them.
So I want to ask you about it, because I'll be perfectly honest, Brian. Arizona stood out to me as well. And I immediately eliminated them and saying, I'm not going to back a team that is 2-37 in their last 39 tries as an underdog. Okay, not going to do it. And if they win today, I'll lose I won't make the unit that I would have earned off Arizona, but I want to see them win once before I back them after this type of skid. Does that thought process enter your mind? Or you're like, look, the value's here. This is the game Arizona's supposed to win. No baseball team loses every game forever, and now's the time to fire. Which gives you more balls than I have, I guess. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, you take a look at all the teams this year. The Kansas City Royals got off to a great start. Then everybody started betting on them. Then they go on a big losing streak. Nobody wants them. Every team goes through this all season long. One thing in regards to that was the 2 teams that Arizona just played, San Francisco and the LA Dodgers. 2 of the hottest teams in baseball, 2 of the teams that are the best teams in baseball. Now they're dropping down to play the Milwaukee Brewers. And that comeback they had almost came back all the way last night against the Dodgers. That's got to be treated as a positive, even though they didn't get that victory. I think that the Diamondbacks are right now on the verge of getting a nice little money run where we can make some money on them where nobody wants them. And so we're going to get some great plus prices. To me, it's a buy-on situation right now for Arizona.
Bryan, Leonard, everybody. Bryan, let's move to the Houston Astros versus Baltimore. Marco looked at this game. Houston minus 167. Where are you going here?
I look at Houston also. I rate both pitchers roughly about the same. Odorizzi hasn't been very good this year. Aiken's peripherals have been better than his actual record has been. Houston rakes against lefties. I believe, WRC plus on the season is 126, which is number one, better than the Chicago White Sox, so everybody can't stop themselves from getting in line to play on them. In Houston, you take a look at their last 10 games. I believe 8 out of the 10 games, they scored at least 6 runs. This is a team just knocking the hell out of the ball right now. Baltimore is really good against lefties. I like to play Baltimore against lefties, but they're lousy against righties. I think we're getting a little bit of a cheap number here because Odorizzi hasn't pitched well this year. And so we're getting a team, if the line's 150, that means 60% of the time they're going to win. So really, we're looking at a situation where will Houston win this game 63, 64% of the time? I think they win it by more than that. I think there are a 67, 68% chance of winning. So the line should be more in the 170, 175 range in my regard. So I prefer the Houston side here. And I've watched a lot of Baltimore lately, and they're a team that really goes off against lefties, but against righties, they have not done a thing. And I'm not standing in the way of the hottest team in baseball, the hottest offense in baseball, and the best team in baseball, even without Bregman, is Toro has come in at third base, and he's just been terrific in the couple games he's been there. So I'll lay the number with Houston Astros here.
I mean, the Astros are 26-13 at home, winning the 2 out of 3. On the road, they're pretty close to 500. And Odorizzi certainly, I'm not seeing a whole lot of bet on from this guy. I can understand that Houston is something you want to bet, a team you don't want to bet against. But Odorizzi himself is not anyone who's has impressed me in any way, shape, or form this season. And the results clearly show that. So given those two factors and the price, you're saying 3-2 is a given, that the Astros are, clearly 3-2 better, and they are. They're probably 2-1 better than Baltimore. Does the nuance of the Astros on the road and Odorizzi's struggles concern you with this price tag, or is it just, hey, just lay it with the better team and don't sweat about these things?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Astros on the road at all. This is a veteran team, and they've been there before. And once again, after everything that's happened the last couple of years, they've got something to prove. So I'm not worried about that. Odorizzi has been a better pitcher in his career. He just hasn't been very good this year. And a lot of it is because of injuries. He's coming off the DL or the injured list, as they call it this year. So it's a situation for him where people are looking at what he's done, and he's been a better pitcher in his career than what he's done this year. And if there was any other starter for Houston against Baltimore here, we're looking at least 180, probably 190, maybe even 200 if it's one of their aces going. So I'm just taking advantage of the hitters of Houston against the hitters of Baltimore in this game, and I rate the pitching matchup very equal.
Great breakdown, Bryan Leonard, WagerTalk.com. Bryan, it's $9 Mondays. Everybody at WagerTalk, $9. What do you got going?
I put up one play today, and that was the Arizona game that nobody likes. So if you've been watching this, you know what my play is. No need to buy it. And Houston's my second best play on the card. Didn't like anything in hockey, but I've got something that's going up tomorrow, and I'll put that up later today so you can get it for only $9.
There you go, Bryan Leonard, everybody. Bryan, thanks for joining us. Marco D'Angelo done. Bryan Leonard done. We got Carmine, Bianco still to come. Teddy Covers. Let's welcome in our friends in the chat room. Abid, Joey, D Money, Dan Smith, Yoshi, P-Dog, all of these guys. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Antoine Cole, I haven't seen your name. Thanks for showing up. Guys, hit that like button for us, please. It only takes a second to do. Teddy, Philadelphia 76ers, man. Are they going to have to blow this team up?
I don't think so, but look, when it comes to Joel Embiid wasn't healthy. Okay, so we give Mulligan in that regard. We get to do-over. The Ben Simmons stuff is real. All right. Ben Simmons got inside his own head so bad that he was not effective down the stretch of a series where he's supposed to be, one of the 2 or 3 best players on the floor all the time. But right now, Simmons making big money, and I'm not sure anybody, well, someone will want him if they want to deal him. But I worry more about the Ben Simmons aspect and how he's going to respond to this collapse than any other factor. And, I'm not going to say Philly's done, but it'll be a very interesting offseason for the 76ers, who worked really hard to get to this point, but just couldn't get over the hump.
Any early thoughts on Milwaukee, Atlanta? I'll tell you, the NBA must be licking their chops. Such big TV markets, real great brand equity between these two teams. They couldn't have had it any better way. Any early thoughts?
Let's start with this, all right? For those of you conspiracy theorists out there, okay, the 76ers lost a close game at home in Game 7. The Brooklyn Nets lost a close game at home in Game 7. And those were the two teams that supposedly the league wanted to go on. Okay, so for all you conspiracy theorists out there telling me who the NBA wants, well, they didn't get who they wanted. Okay, Trae Young is the type of emerging superstar that the NBA wants to highlight. Okay, Trae Young's fun to watch. He's exciting to watch. And the league has a vested interest in developing the next level of superstars. Giannis has been there, okay, for Milwaukee. And it's time for him, in theory, to get to that next level where he's a household name, where he's the next Steph Curry. That's the process. You start out being someone the NBA fans know, and then you become someone that some casual fans know, and then eventually you become Michael Jordan or Larry Bird or whoever. Yeah, Michael Jordan. You become the
I
LeBron
love Michael Jordan.
The point is this, that in order for the league to develop those next level of superstars, they got to be in playoff games. Trae Young's made a name for himself this postseason. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So is Giannis. And the fact that the big markets are out, we'll see what the ratings look like. I'm fascinated to see if the league, and again, let's not just forget, it's not only a U.S. ratings, it's a global ratings, in the international marketplace. We'll see what the NBA does this year. I think the doomsayers are probably a little bit, I'll be interested. I'm fascinated to see what the ratings are. I think the ratings might be better than expected. The doomsayers are saying the NBA's screwed. I'm not convinced that's the case.
Yeah, right. NBA screwed. Teddy Covers, let's bring him in, Marco. Carmine, Bianco. Teddy, I'm excited to have this guy here. I'm so excited. I'm getting names wrong. And I slept great last night, too. Finally. Carmine, welcome to WagerTalk Today. Did you get my Slack that you're coming on every day this week, except Thursday or Friday?
Yes, I did. And there's a ton of stuff that we can talk about. So I'll be more than happy to. Anytime I can get on a show with Teddy, I'm always excited about doing that.
Carm, let me tell you, it's totally overrated. The luster, the shine goes away within minutes. And then you're like, thank God Prez is here. Dude, we're in the final round of the pre-playoff section of this tournament. The round of 16 starts on Saturday. Really quick, before we take apart the two games today, any big surprises that stand out to you? Any potential bets, future bets that jump out at you as we move forward?
Yeah, it's been a great tournament thus far. Just off the top of my head, obviously, I talked about on previous shows and in the pre-tournament show I did with Kelly, Italy, 3-0, 7 goals scored, none allowed, 11 straight games where they haven't allowed a goal over 1,000 minutes of clean sheet time. The team's playing extremely well, and they substituted 4 or 5 players into the lineup on Sunday against the Wales and got the job done. Another team that in the same division, everyone's sort of dark horse for some reason, Turkey, in the tournament, and they went the wrong way. I lost all 3 games, outscored 8-1, and never played any competitive. And then two big teams playing all their games at home, Spain and England. Spain, 2 games, 2 draws. They look absolutely punchless right now.
Yeah.
They've got a game. They can still get in. A game coming up where they're favored by a couple of goals at home in Sevilla. They should win that game. And England, a win and a draw, but a very uninventive football thus far. The game against Scotland finished in a 0-0 draw at home at Wembley. and they just didn't look good. I'm not sure what Gareth Southgate can do with this team, but they need to pick up some momentum and quick. They can still win their group with a final match day win against Czech Republic coming up in a couple of days' time. So as far as that goes, those are sort of the surprises thus far.
I don't know, man. I put Wales in there too, Carm. I mean, I think they've been a big surprise. They still might make it, but man, Gareth Bale down to 10 players against Italy, and Bale missed 9 out of 10. He gets that goal 9 out of 10 times. I've been impressed with this Wales team.
Yeah, listen, they're into the next round. They've qualified. They will play the first knockout stage game Saturday at noon. After that red card, they just defended the object for them in the game, or at that point, was do not allow a second and third goal. The reason being is the Switzerland game was being played at the same time. Switzerland was up 3-1 in that game, and the goal differential would have determined who finishes second, who finishes third. So you just saw them sit 9 guys back, defend against Italy. Italy really didn't care. They just passed the ball around. It was quite possibly one of the most boring second halves of football that you can play. And if Wales got the ball, they just kicked it upfield and said, go and get it and come back and try again. It was one of those games where Italy wasn't going to lose it.
Carm, let's get into Russia today. Plus 400 to beat Denmark. Denmark minus 143. A tie is 280. Where are we going in this game? All four teams now on the final match day all play at the same time. And that's to make sure that, call it any funny business goes on. You don't know what result the other team has. You know what's going on in game. Sort of like what happened yesterday. So all 4 games are being played at the same time. Denmark's a team that has lost both games thus far. No points, but they can still get the number 2 seed in this group. And I talked about it in a futures video where you could take them right now 50-1 to win the Euros. They're not probably going to win the Euros, but you can hedge out later on. They will actually finish second in this group if the following happens. Belgium beat Finland, which is expected to happen. And Denmark beat Russia, but a couple of different scenarios. Any 1-goal win by Denmark today that is not 1-0, so any 2-1, 3-2 type of game, and Finland losing gives Denmark the number 2 seed. Any Denmark win by 2 or more goals and Finland losing gives them the number 2 seed. And all of a sudden they're into the playoffs and have a very favorable game. They'll play Wales, and they'll be favored in that game. And now you're sitting on a 50-1 future on Denmark to win the Euros, which you can somewhat hedge out anytime you have a 50-1 with 16 or 8 teams left that they get by Saturday's game, and you got a fantastic hedge. So I recorded a video on that. You can find it on my Twitter page. They're favored to win this game. I believe they get it done. The analytics on this team through the 2 games is they completely dominated Finland, lost that game on the only shot they allowed on goal. That was the whole thing with the Christian Eriksen cardiac arrest on the field. The team just didn't respond after that. And then the game against Belgium where they outplayed them for 45 minutes and only had a 1-0 lead and then lost 2-1 in the second half. So analytics point to a win by them today. So that's where we'll go with this game.
We've got just a moment left here with Carmine Bianco. Of course, we're a little bit tight on time because I got the NFL opening line report right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Be sure to stay tuned for that one. But real quick, before we let you go, Carm, I do want to ask you about Belgium versus Finland. Belgium, a perfect 2-0 after a come-from-behind win over Denmark. They only need to avoid a defeat today. A tie works just fine to lock in the top spot in Group B. We saw Italy rest some starters on Sunday against Wales in a similar spot. Is that something we could see here? And how would you approach this game real quick from a side?
Yeah, I'll make it real quick. Belgium are in with a draw or better. Roberto Martinez, the manager, has said that while he might make a couple changes, he is going to keep the team and the momentum intact that they have built. He wanted to get Kevin De Bruyne in. He only played 45 minutes in that second half after coming back from that facial injury. He's going to have him in there for as much as he can get in. He stated this is a game where they just want to keep the momentum going. They're a much better team. Obviously, they're the number one ranked team. They're going to get the win here. I think you can lay the goal and a half, or you can take Belgium win to nil minus 110. Belgium winning the game and not allowing a goal, and that's likely to happen today. So Belgium to win to nil minus 110.
Carmine, Bianco, everyone. Carm, it's $9 Mondays at 100 miles an hour because Teddy's brying me in Slack. What do you got going?
Yeah, Euro package. Use the coupon code KO60. You can get $60 off the complete tournament package for the Euros and the Copa America. Get every single player release.
Okay, awesome stuff. Carm, we'll see you tomorrow, dude. Same time, same channel. We'll go a little long. We'll bother Teddy even more. Let's go, Joe. Put me in the penalty box segment. Hey guys, it's me, Lawrence Presman. Anybody watching this on Twitter, make sure to check out WagerTalk Today. Outstanding Monday show. It's $9 Mondays at WagerTalk. Anybody's plays from any handicapper, only $9. Teddy Covers has a 5% in baseball. Marco D'Angelo has a 5% in baseball. I've got one baseball play and one hockey play up. You can get them both for only $9 over at WagerTalk.com. As for your free picks, let's start with an Andrew McGinnis special from our great flagship hockey show, Puck Time. Andrew McGinnis likes under 31.5 shots by Tampa Bay. That's under 31.5 shots by Tampa Bay. Carmine Bianco from Puck Time as well, like Victor Hedman, over half a power play point at plus 150. That's over half a power play point at plus 150. And really, in keeping with the whole Tampa Bay this, Tampa Bay that, I like Tampa Bay in the first period tonight, and I also like Tampa Bay in the game. I know it's minus 190, but I handicapped that line to be around minus 260. I think you're getting a ton of value. You can already see it with the line in the Vegas game tomorrow, same exact scenario, and Vegas is minus 240. So here we have a short minus 190 on Tampa Bay. That's it for me. That's it for the show. Teddy, get us out of here, bro.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of WagerTalk Today. I want to thank you guys very much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us. Always thank Carmine, Bianco, Bryan, Leonard, and of course, Marco D'Angelo. Thanks to Joe Ranieri behind the scenes. Thanks to my co-host, Lawrence Present, for letting us run late. If you want to stay tuned, opening line report. We're going to talk NFL season wins. The report comes out a little over 2 weeks from today. That'll be 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. That being said, enjoy the games. Good luck tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.